one of the great promises and Yehudim of La'asid Lavai is that Lo Yeh B'cha Evyin. It says in Dvarim, in Chumash Dvarim, Perek Tesvav Pasuk Dalet, that when Mashiach comes, there will be no Evyin, there will be a time when there will be no poor, very poor people, and this will come in the time when Mashiach will come. And according to this, the question is asked, what's going to be with the great mitzvah of tzedakah? Is it possible that we're not going to be able to do the mitzvah of tzedakah when Mashiach comes? And the question is strengthened according to the famous Medrash Tanchuma in Parshas Mishpatim, Tezvav, where David HaMelech tells the Eibishter that let your world be equal. Why should there be poor and rich? Let everyone be equal. And Hashem answered him, if so, chesed ve'emes man yinzeru. If the world will be equal, there will be no chesed in the world. So if when Mashiach comes, there's going to be no poor people, there will be no more Avyonim, so then how will there be chesed in the world? And the answer is given based on L'Kutei Sichos, Chelek Chav Dalet, page 317, that based on the Gemara that says that Geulah Gemilas Chasadim Yoser Min Tzedakah, Gemilas Chasadim is greater than tzedakah because tzedakah is only to poor people, and Gemilas Chasadim is both to poor people and to wealthy people, because even a wealthy person who has everything that he needs and that he wants, he could always gain, he could always benefit from a loan. So according to this Gemara, we can explain that when Mashiach is going to come, there's not going to be no aniyim ve'avyonim. There's going to be no one who's going to be poor. But there will still be chesed. There will still be chesed because there will be gemilos chasadim. Everyone will be ashirim. And being that gemilos chasadim benefits even ashirim, there will still be chesed in the world. Oy bazai, the question is asked that if you could have chesed in the world when Mashiach comes, when there are no avyonim, so then David HaMelech's taina to the Eibishter in the Medrash Tanchuma that we said before comes back, that let there be no aniyim in the world, and there will still be chesed in the world, like the way it's going to be when Mashiach comes. There are two answers to this. Why, before Mashiach comes, it won't work that there's no aniyim, and that still there should be chesed. One reason is because before Mashiach comes, there's still a metzias of ra in the world. There's bad mixed into everything. And therefore the metzias is that if a person is not asked for chesed, for tzedakah, if a person is not asked to do chesed because there's a situation where someone is lacking their needs, then they won't do chesed just to be mekayim the inyan of chesed, just to fulfill the inyan of chesed. Only when a person sees that there's a lack and there's a need, then a person will give. When Mashiach is going to come, a person is not going to need to be asked in order to do chesed. They'll do chesed on their own just to be mekayim the amud of chesed because the world will be a perfect world. But in Galus, that's not the case. The second answer is that this point that Hashem made poor people in order to be mekayim the inyan of chesed is not enough of a reason to make a person poor. And as it says in Sefer HaMamarim Kuntreisim, Chelek Aleph, page 238, that tefillah la'ani, what is the tefillah, what is the davening, the prayer of the ani, the poor person? He davens to Hashem, why was he chosen to be the poor person? Just because Hashem needs chesed in the world, should he be the poor person? So there is another reason why Hashem makes certain people poor, and it's not enough that the world needs chesed. So why does Hashem taka make certain people poor? The reason is because Hashem, in His own exalted cheshbonis calculations, decided that there has to be birurim, there has to be refinement of the world, and there has to be refinement of certain people in certain ways in the world. And Hashem, according to that, shows certain people to need to be the askers, the people who are needy and who need to request tzedakah, and the people who need to go through the refinement of giving those who are asking them. That is the way it is during Galus, in a time of avodas habirurim, where we have to refine the world, and everyone has their shlichus, everyone has their purpose. When Mashiach is going to come, there's going to be no more avodas habirurim, there's going to be no more refining the world will be a perfect world, the world will have reached its completion. So there's going to be no more avodas habirurim, and then there's no more reason to have poor people in order to be mekayim the inyan of chesed, And therefore, when Mashiach comes, that there's going to be no more avodas habirurim, the only reason to have chesed will be that people will give chesed to each other automatically, and that is because there's no reason to have an aniyim anymore. There's no reason to have poor people because there's no more avodas habirurim.